anything or just imagined it. I didn't know. All I knew was I was in a cold sweat.
My creatures, creeps, greetings and ghouls! Dr. Sambo here with another episode of Zounds from the flip side. And tonight we got Cat Hall from Dissonance. How you doing tonight?
I am fabulous. Fabulous.
You look fabulous. You sound fabulous.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I'm trying. Would that it were actually so, but I'm trying.
Aren't we all? I mean, I don't wake up this beautiful every day. I gotta try real hard, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so for some of you out there that don't know Cat Hall, you should. Just like I say, you should know all my guests because they are some cool motherfuckers. And she has had videos on the show and will have videos on the show for as long as she keeps making them, you know what I'm saying? So go check it out. Tell us a little bit about this new album I hear.
Well, it is on the label that I've been on forever, which is Hack Attack International, and it's going to be called Something Unforgivable. It's kind of a mixture of some old dissonance styles and new dissonance styles, working with some new people that I haven't worked with prior. So Mike Nolan, Craig Drabick are two names that come to mind that were brand new. I basically asked for volunteers if anybody wanted to contribute some music because I solely do lyrics and vocals.
Right.
So, I'm always looking for collaborators, and, thankfully I've got two really good ones that work with me all the time, and a third that works with me a lot of the time. But, when you're trying to complete an entire album, that's a lot of work for people that have day jobs and do other things, especially if they're involved in multiple projects, which everybody is.
Yeah.
So, I've gotten these people that have been kind enough to send me music and trusted me with doing lyrics and vocals for it, which I've done. And we wound up getting 8 really solid tracks, and we did 9 solid tracks and 3 really good remixes. So there's 12 tracks on the album, and I think it kicks ass.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And when are you estimating this is going to be out?
December 18th is the release date. I just got that this morning. So we've been kind of waiting with bated breath until we found out what the release date was going to be.
I was waiting too. Okay, perfect. That is coming up really quick. So you got a lot of work to do ahead of you.
It is. We've got some promotion to do, and I'm hoping that we'll get some new listeners also, which would be amazing. We're having a premiere on Region Magazine. Ilker Yücel is doing that for us, and so thank you, Ilker. It's always an honor, when people offer to, talk about your work. And so, anybody that is willing to review it, I'm very, very honored and excited about. So
I can't wait to review it.
I think everybody's going to like it. So
I want the first videos. I do. I want to put those on the show. They fit so well. The one that you did, was it Star Stuff?
Star Stuff.
Yeah.
We are made of different stars, nonetheless the stars we are, different and still the same, illuminated flame. All we are is everything, all we are is everything. We are the sun, we are the moon, we will never die.
Yes, that was an amazing video, and it fits so well. And I listened to it so many times, and it just resonated. And you've got a lot of stuff that's like that. And talking about collaborations, I mean, I just keep seeing your name pop up all over the place in people's stuff. The last one I was working with Martin King doing his music video. You know, he was like, hey, do this real quick. And I was like, okay. So I threw some shit together and I was like, it's not that great. But I was looking through the album. I was like, there's Cat Hall. I was like, God, this universe just keeps getting smaller.
I'm on that one 2 times. Yeah, on that album 2 times. So excited. Martin and Dog Tablet, they do fabulous work.
Yes.
They're some of my favorite people to work with. So good. So good.
I thought it was a beautiful mix. Your guys' collaboration together, you guys have a lot of the same kind of flow. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's melodic, slightly dark, but there's a beautiful edge to it.
I kind of always thought that, you know, as far as Martin's work goes, it's very cinematic also.
Absolutely.
It has a very, you know, movie feel to it. And I've always kind of gravitated towards that sort of thing. I like dance music, but I also kind of like the big movie style
Yeah.
writing. So that's a lot of fun for me. A lot of fun.
I adore movie style music because it's kind of like reading a book. You sit down, you're making the movie in your head. And if you can follow the album and it feels like the flow of a movie, well, I mean, the ideas just start popping, you know what I'm saying?
It's nice and contiguous, yeah.
Yeah, I dig it. So what are some of the other collaborations you've done? Because I know you just, like I said, you're popping up everywhere.
Well, I am on a new track that the Joy Thieves are putting out. I think it's coming out on the 23rd or 25th. I can't remember which. It's called 6 to 3. And it's going to be a very powerful piece. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of really amazing people that worked on that. Safira V is one. You know, just it's going to be a really punchy piece of work that's coming out. So watch for that too.
So it sounds like this is going to kind of come out and kick you in the teeth.
It will.
Good,
It will.
good.
And that's the plan.
Hey,
That's the plan for that piece.
to anyone watching, when it does kick you in the teeth, film it, send it to Dr. Zombo's World so I can literally show her music coming through, breaking your teeth out.
And maybe
That's entertainment.
if you could send in your broken teeth, we could do something with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can mold them. We can make little, I had my teeth broke out at Dr. Zombo's and all I got was this crappy necklace,
There you
you
go.
know? Oh, anyway. So I want to ask a little back history, if you don't mind. Where were the humble or maybe not so humble beginnings of Dissonance?
Well, a long time ago, well, to start even further back than that, my parents always put me in choir. You know, I was, you know, learning how to sing at a very early age. I enjoyed it. It was something that I did throughout school. When I got into college, one of my friends, Bob Durham, approached me and he wanted to have a band. So we started our first band, my first band, and it was called Vis-a-Vis. And we played in Shreveport, Louisiana, of all places. You know, that's where I grew up. And it was me, Bob Durham, Brady Blade, who is a phenomenal drummer, and Aaron Schneider. We had several other people that popped in with us, but that was the main lineup, and a lot of fun doing that. Of course, when I look back at those early recordings, they're nothing like what I'm doing now.
Right.
So I was a big fan of club music, dance music, and I really got into Information Society because I thought that their videos were really fun. I loved
Yes.
the primary colors. They, you know, had wacky haircuts and such. I don't know where I got mine, but you know, we had the same hairdresser for a while. Anyway, so I basically met them and they became friends. And you know, one day Paul Robb said, "Hey, I'm starting a record label. Do you want to be on it?" And I said, yeah,
Yeah, why not?
absolutely. So that's kind of the brief history of it. And, I did some music for collaboration CDs, but my first album was with Hack Attack International, Paul's label, and it came out in 1997. We spent a very cold November in 1996 recording that in Minneapolis, actually no, St. Paul, in a warehouse that Paul used for his studio. It was quite airish in there.
You're talking about Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
it was chilly. For a Louisiana girl, that was pretty chilly. So anyway, we did that album. My co-writer at the time was David Sabrand. He was my co-writer for my second album, which came out on a different label, Nilaya Records. We switched labels because Paul was simply busy at the time and he didn't have enough spoons to go around. And so we moved over to Nilaya for one album. It was called Reincarnate. It's still available on Amazon with repressing. Then we all kind of took a hiatus. Me and David kind of stopped working together anyway. I think he continued and I just took a break for a long time. I started getting back into music probably in about 2008 when I met a guy named Abid Hussein who had a project called Nebulae, and he and I started a sub-project called Chlorophyll. It can still be found on Bandcamp. It's pretty obscure, but there's some really good stuff on there. We did some it's almost some shoegaze style music.
Okay.
We did a cover of some stuff that I did with Paul Robb. So that was a lot of fun. After working with him for a while, he moved away, and isn't it? He moved away to become a lawyer. He passed the bar and got a real job. So
Hold on. The lawyer thing. This is the second time I've heard somebody doing something weird to become a lawyer. A
Right.
lawyer of all things. I just heard a story of a guy who lived his entire life since like the early 40s in an iron lung. Somehow found a way to pass the bar and become a lawyer. Good on him.
wow,
What the fuck are you gonna do? They're gonna wheel you into the fucking court?
he's going to represent
Guilty.
himself.
No? No offense against people in iron lungs. I didn't know they still did that shit.
I know, right? That's pretty impressive.
I was blown away. So I get sitting there thinking, going, fucking lawyer. Hey, you remember what we were just doing, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody finds ways that their life needs to morph.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong.
He moved to New Orleans. I stayed in the Dallas area, which is where I am now and where I have been for quite some time. Stopped doing music again for a while until my buddy Kurt from Information Society sent me one of their new albums. That was back in 2015. I think it was Hello World was the one that they came out with that year. And I was just completely inspired. I was like, man, this is awesome. This is
Yeah.
fantastic. Why am I not singing anymore? So I kind of got mad at myself and I started writing again. Initially, it was with David, my first co-writer, but about halfway through the process, he got mired down with life and had issues that he had to deal with. And so I was left without a co-writer. And so the project stopped for a while. In the meantime, I went and found Justin Burning on a electronic music producers group on Facebook. I was basically just looking again for anybody to write with, and he said, look, I got a whole album of dark stuff if you want to do vocals for it. And that's where Void came in. That was my third full-length album. It's probably my most beautiful album. It's got layers and layers and layers and layers of vocals. I don't think any track on there has less than 60 layers of vocals.
That's
Everything
amazing.
is stacked and stacked and stacked and stacked.
Yeah.
And lots of harmonies. That came out in 2017, I believe. Then I started working with Jim Marcus in Chicago. Jim Marcus of the Lord Sow fame and Go Fight. He's fantastic and such a great producer. He co-wrote Star Stuff. So he helped me with my Ascent EP that came out in 2019. It had some of the music that David and I had worked on. We also brought Kurt in and had him do guest vocals on a track. So there's always been collaboration, and it's becoming more and more collaboration, which for me is just awesome because I really enjoy kind of feeding off of other people's creativity. I get a real...
Tell me about it. I love it.
Burst of inspiration when I hear the process that others are taking. And so, after that album came out, or EP, I should say, because it's only 6 tracks, I was on a radio show that Melody Whore and Saphira V have. And, just talking to them, I kind of mentioned that, I was looking for more co-writers. And so I've done a couple of tracks with Saphira, and Melody Whore became my co-writer, my new regular co-writer. He's actually a member of the band.
That's nice.
Yeah. And during the downtimes in between these albums, I started doing a lot of maxi singles. One of the people that does most of my remix. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Remixes. Glenn Kirchner is just a real phenom with all of that. He does amazing remixes, and they're always fun. There's always, even though the song itself may be the most depressing thing you've ever heard, there's always just a spark of joy in everything that Glenn does, and it just pops and sizzles, and
there's something to be said about that when you find the perfect partner when it comes to music or art or anything. You get that one person that their flavor, their vibe, just clicks. And you just can't wait to see what they got next. And they're always nonchalant, like, well, here's the next thing I did is, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. And you're like, this is fucking amazing. It helps. It helps.
Yeah, that's our mutual admiration society, is me, James and Glenn just kind of listen to each other's stuff, and we're like, man, we're awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. When will anybody hear our stuff? I mean, we've been working on this last album for about a year, and just been really excited about it. So many people told me with all of our maxi singles, they're like, well, we don't really want to buy a maxi single. We'd rather wait for a full-length album.
Right.
And I'm thinking, you could get it now,
Right.
they're all band. It's not, album to album, you put them all together, it makes an album.
Yeah. Just collect all my shit and you got an anthology.
Right. So, I mean, I was in the mode of let's put them out as soon as we make them. And I feel really, being a child of the born in 71, you can do the math. I really came up in the club years where we had the maxi singles where, you'd buy, a 12-inch single, and it would have like, 5 or 6 copies of, different versions of the same song.
Right.
But all of them were different. And so I kind of took that and ran with it and said, let's do this, except I'm going to send stems out to some musicians, but I'm only going to send them the vocals because I want the music to be very different for each remixer. And
that would be hard to do for me. Like going off the vocals alone.
Yeah.
Oh man. But I see where you're going with it because you get a different flavor every time.
Yeah. And I would send them the reference track, like the original song as the reference track. And some of the stems if they wanted it, like if they needed, some beats to get started or just to line it up, because vocals sometimes are a little bit squirrely, as far as fitting them in if you're starting from vocals and then adding music. We usually, my process is usually the other way around.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I need, you know, probably, you know, drum and bass at least to
Right.
get going. But that's how we did it. And we had several people that worked with us. One of the guys that did a lot of work, and he's on this new album as well, John von Herman. He is a regular collaborator, and you know, he does some really fun stuff. He does some really fun instrumentation, and one of the, as a matter of fact, the first track on the album, which is called "I Don't Like Who You Are," is a
Sounds fun to me.
very strong track, and John really knocked that one out of the park. I told him, you know, I sent him kind of my idea for the lyrics, and I said, you know, I want something a little bit angry, I want something a little bit, you know, crunchy.
With a title like that, you can't be sending hugs and kisses.
Right. More.
Yeah, it takes me back hearing you, because I'm not going to go into the long fucking history bullshit of it. I was a singer for a while, and I mean, we literally practiced for like, I don't know, 4 years on one album until we finally recorded it and finally played a show.
Wow.
3 days a week, just playing, dude. I had so many fucking headaches. I drank more honey to try to keep my throat. But I'm kind of like you. Give me some music, I could throw shit to anything. Just throw me the music. You know what I mean?
Right.
Trying to do it the other way around, I don't know if I could do that. I'd probably start singing some gospel shit and just, you know, because you're trying to get a rhythm and a roll, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I can pull it off. You are a very talented person. I dig all the stuff that you're doing. She's always posting stuff up on Facebook. Every other day there's a new song. There's a couple, and please, you can kick me in the nuts next time I see you, okay? I do not remember. There was one in particular. I cannot remember the name of it. I turned it on. I just clicked on it. I was working on some other stuff, and it stopped me dead in what I was doing. Listened to it 4 more times. And I was just like, this is fucking good. This is really fucking good. There's a couple videos that you sent me, and I've used, I think, 1 or 2 of them so far. But, I mean, your voice comes out so well. And it's not one of these, like, fucking annoying, I don't even know if fucking Rihanna, is that a fucking singer? Yeah. It's not one of that type of shit, you know? There's soul to it. There's feeling. And you don't have one of those high-pitched voices that are really annoying. You've got that smooth, like, I didn't even know what ASMR was until the other day. You got one of those voices, you know? That kind of make you go, oh, yeah, okay, all right. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this new album come out and all the collaborations that you're doing. So people know where to find you now. On SoundCloud. I'm probably everywhere. You're on fucking Spotify, all that shit, right?
Right. Pretty much everywhere there is a music outlet, you know, Deezer, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music. I prefer Bandcamp because that's the only site that I actually get paid from. So,
right. Yeah.
Buy it on Bandcamp.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because they could buy the whole album right there.
They can. They can buy all of my albums except for Reincarnate, the second one, because that one's not on Bandcamp.
Well, what the fuck?
I know.
How am I supposed to have the fucking anthology if you ain't got the one album there that pulls it all together? You took the rug out.
That pulls it all together, but you know, it's.
I'm just fucking with you.
It's the one from Malaya. That's, you know, you'll have to go to Amazon for that one.
I had no idea the lineage and how much work you've been putting into this over 2 decades.
Yeah. Technically, we started. David and I started recording in 1994.
Oh,
so that was really the beginning of Dissonance. And
so 94 you guys started, 96 is when you recorded, 97 is when it came out. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I have to say there are many dissonances out there, but I was the first one. And I also own the copyright. So all you other dissonances,
you fuck off.
Right.
You don't exist. You don't have Cat Hall, so you ain't shit. And you heard that on Dr. Zombo's World. Sounds from the flip side. This chick is cool. Go check her out. Listen to her music. And I mean, get into it. Don't just like, oh yeah, there's a song and fuck it. No. Put it on. Give it more than 2 seconds, because I know a lot of you fuckers are happy clickers. Give it more than 2 seconds. I guarantee it will suck you in. You will fucking chill and you will get the vibe that she's putting out, because her voice is like reading a book. And when it comes out, it paints a picture that's so strong. There's no way to get around it. You turn it on, you'll be hooked. There's no way around it. So get your ass to SoundCloud and give this woman some money, even if there is a missing album. That will probably show up sooner or later. And it doesn't tie the whole thing together, but it may. You get what I'm saying.
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, motherfuckers.
Bandcamp.
And fuck all the other dissonances, too. You don't
Right.
exist.
No.
Cat Hall, it has been a fucking honor and a privilege, and I hope you grace my show again. And I hope you send me more videos. I want all of them, so I can just keep putting them up and make you a nice permanent fixture of our musical menagerie on Dr. Zombo's World.
We're working on it for you right now, Doc.
Thank you very much, sweetie. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, you heard it here. Cat Hall, Dissonance, on Zounds from the Flip Side. Till next time, my creatures creeps. Greetings and ghouls. Yes, I almost forgot. Good night.